Did you know not all drop rates are created equal? What's going on, everyone? It's Greg back with some more Watcher of Realms, and let's talk about these drop rates for a minute. But before I get into it, today's video is sponsored by Smile.one. If you are going to top up, you can usually find some good deals here on Smile.one right now in the US site, and these links are in the description. You can get 15% off, and in the Philippines, you can get 13% off of your W Gold from Watcher of Realms. So please use the links in the description if you're going to top up. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm still working on trying to see if I can get you guys a discount code. Man, I don't know. They're not really talking to me about that. So hey, let's move on into the video. Now I'm going to go over 5 epic heroes that are basically more rare than the other epics. And I'm not talking about lords, because yes, lords are more rare. They're in a different pool. But I'm talking about, that are outside of the pool that they show on the drop rate screen. As you can see here, you have a 7.88% chance of getting an epic when doing a pull on the main banner. The problem is these do not all drop at the same rate. Some are more rare than others. Now, I know that Fastidious and Seamus are working on some statistical stuff, trying to collect data on people's pools and things like that. Unfortunately, a lot of the data is going to be skewed. I think they're going to do some tweaks to make it a little bit more effective, but essentially be able to show you the difference in the rates as they come out. And so I think that'll be cool data to see when they present that. What I'm going to do today is just talk about 5 heroes that I know drop at a significantly less rate. Now, this can vary on it by account, basically on an account by account basis. Some people have different luck than others. Some people you can see pull more lures than others. It's just really weird what's going on. It feels like there isn't as much RNG as there is like separate pools and things like that. And the one thing that made us really feel this the most was when they did the promotional package for the 5 million downloads, where you were guaranteed a legendary. You either got a lord or a regular legendary. And I think what people were expecting ahead of time was the rates to be the same as the normal pool. So we were expecting to see a lot more Crack, a lot more Shamir, a lot more Azure. But that didn't seem to be the case. As we saw people, typing in what they got, there seemed to be a much more even distribution of the legendaries, almost as if they essentially had 2 separate pools. You had the legendary lords, and they all had an equal rate, and then you had the legendaries, and they all had an equal rate. But maybe you were more likely to get a legendary than a legendary lord, which is understandable. But what isn't understandable, it's still understandable. What isn't, it's the fact that these rates are not 100% accurate. But it's like, why can't you tell us the exact percentage for Estrid, for example? We know that Estrid drops at a lower rate. So let's go ahead and look at these heroes, and we'll talk through them. I don't have them in any particular order. So we'll start with the first one, and I'm just going to scroll down, and that's going to be Olak. Everyone knows Olak. He's one of the best tanks, especially as an epic tank, but his rate is a lot lower than other epics. You can see here, I've done a lot of pools. I've done 3,300 pools, and you can see my Olak is only at Awaken 2. He was even on a 10 times banner and was still hard to get. And that's one thing I think about those 10 times is those 10 times are only multiplying their already reduced rate. So it's not really increasing it. So you'll find that some of the 10 times drop more than the other 10 times. So anyway, Olak is definitely one of the rare ones. It's a lot harder to see. Iona is actually one of the rare ones. You can get her in the $5 pack. I haven't even had her maxed out yet, and I actually put some of the generic awakening crystals in her. So I actually probably used oh wait, I do have one. I can max her now because I just pulled an Iona. But I actually used some of the generic awakening crystals on her. So I still wouldn't have had her maxed if I was just depending on pools. Deimos is one. Now he was in the 10 times and people were able to get him there, but I think a lot of people still had to use their generic awakening crystals to really get him to A5. So again, rare, super rare. And let's see, Baron, I think some people have some difficulty in getting, but I think he's a little bit on the higher end. Interesting one is Ardathir. Now, even though I think he is a little bit rarer, I don't think he was out. I don't know if he was out at launch. If he was out at launch, then he's definitely rare. But I don't know for sure if he was out at launch. Some people have some difficulty with Maul, and here is 100%. We know that Greed drops at a much lower rate than other heroes, and Greed is actually a really good epic mage. I just think that, you know, he can get outshined by some others, and people don't really normally like put in the resources to bring him up. But he has some really good CC and can put out some good damage. But he is a rare one as well. For me, Hollow, I've only gotten one copy of Hollow out of over like 3,300 pulls. Only one copy of Hollow. I've pulled a lot of Divines as well, so keep that in mind. I have a lot of Divines within these summons as well, which are guaranteed to be epic, at least. So Hollow is rare as well. I found that Livian, even though she's craftable, she also like seems to be rare, popping up in pools. AI not so much. A Siren, again, I don't remember if he was actually in the game before the event, so I don't know how accurate that is, but I do know Estrid. Estrid is definitely rare. Again, a few of these I'm not sure if they were kind of like slid in after global release. I like definitely the Chaos faction was, so I know, like, you know, Aatrox might be harder to get, but he's also more recent addition to the game. Damon seems to be a little bit harder to get as well. So those are the main ones. I'm sorry, that was more than 5, so you get a little bit of bonus there. I kind of just went through and talked about it, but the key thing here is it is a problem that these rates are different. And maybe it's not necessarily a problem, it's a problem that they don't talk about it. Like, why don't they publicize it? Same thing with the legendaries. Like, I mean, we can go into legendaries, but everyone knows Azor, Crack, or more common. Or maybe it's just the fact that, I guess if you look at my account, I have more of a spread on my legendaries. So is it really that they're more likely to drop, or is it just that they aren't any good, so people pay more attention to them? Those I don't know. I've seen some people get some very unlucky draws when it comes to them, and it's something you see in the chat a lot. But do we pay more attention to it because they aren't good? I don't know. But the epics, on the other hand, we know which ones are good. Even Dolores, people have issues pulling Dolores. There's definitely some discrepancies there, and the rates are definitely different. 100%, you cannot deny it. I'm sorry, you can't. And I think a lot of that will come to light with this information that Fastidious and Seamus bring with the statistics. But just know that it's not created equal, and I don't really think it's fair. And we should really be, you know, pushing the developers to be a little more transparent and really show us what those rates are. You know, give us more details on these drop rates. You know, what's the breakdown once you get into the 7.88%? You know, it's probably more like a bunch of them are like 10% of that, and then, well, I don't know. I can't do the math right now. But it definitely isn't even. It is not even at all. You do not have an equal chance of getting each of these. I would not believe that for 1 second. I don't think anyone else would either. So if you're newer to the game, I'm sorry to have to break this to you, but that's just how it is. It is what it is. Some are rarer than others. You'll just have to deal with it. If you're not new, or in general, I mean, if you've had a different experience with any of these heroes I've mentioned, if you feel like they do drop better, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know the variation. I think there are some variation on accounts. I know everyone jokes about these pools and things like that, but I think there's some truth behind it. I think there might be some seeds and stuff out there that have better quote-unquote luck than others. But, you know, let me know down below what you think. If any of these have fallen, like, have you pulled a bunch of them and you feel like it's really common, let me know. I'm very, very curious to see if people have different experience, or if there is a general consensus. Again, definitely interesting to see that data when it comes out. So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you in the next video.